Welcome back, guys. My name is Vlad.
And my name is Anton.
And like promised, we're back with a review of the Nautilus X. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the tank, let's talk about our contest again.
As we mentioned before, we're going to be giving away not one, not two, but 3 Nautilus X's. In order to enter the draw, all you have to do is subscribe to our videos and comment on why you're excited about the Nautilus X.
Alright, let's get into it.
Looking into the box, you're going to see there's a Nautilus X tank in there, as well as a spare 1.5 ohm coil and an extra glass piece in case yours happens to break.
As we mentioned in the first impressions video, these coils are recommended for 14 to 22 watts. And for all of you who've been doing mouth-to-lung vaping for a while, who might feel a little bit uneasy vaping that high on a 1.5, don't worry. I fired this accidentally at 40 watts and I didn't burn my coil. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but if you stay in the recommended range, you're gonna have a fantastic time. Although this tank looks very similar to the Cleto, their internals are very different.
Unlike the Cleto, this tank stands out because the air holes are at the top as opposed to on the bottom like we're all used to. What that means is the tank is essentially leak-proof because no juice actually comes out through the bottom.
Another minor difference between the Cleto and the Nautilus X. On the Nautilus X, the top cap consists of 2 parts. The first is the threading, which actually connects to the tank, and the second part, the very topmost part, is your airflow adjustment. When you spin this part, you will see the airflow holes opening or closing.
The last significant difference with this tank is that unlike all other mouth-to-lung tanks out there, the juice holes are significantly bigger, providing way more flavor than any other mouth-to-lung tank out on the market right now.
Because the Nautilus X borrows a lot of its body design from the Cleto, you're going to be filling it up in almost exactly the same way. All you have to do is unscrew the top cap and either pour or pipette your juice in.
The only thing you have to be careful with when you're filling up your juice is that because the coil has threading connected to the bottom as well as the top, it is possible the coil will stay attached to the top piece and come out with the top cap.
And that pretty much does it for the operation of the tank. Now let's just get in and vape it. I mentioned this in the last video, but nothing has changed. I think the flavor on this tank is phenomenal.
Although it's not quite on level with any sub-ohm tank out on the market, it is damn close.
I really like how tight you can make the draw. In a lot of airflow control tanks, even the original Nautilus Mini, when you set it to the smallest possible setting, you're still getting a lot of air coming through. On this one, you put it to a tiny little sliver and it's almost like pulling on a cigarette. I'm sure a lot of you are trying to lower your nicotine levels. You know, that's why we pick up vaping. We don't want to be smoking. We want to cut that out of our lives. This tank did force me to use a higher nicotine content than I normally use on my straight to lung. Vapor production is on par with other mouth to lung devices, if not a little bit better. But as we mentioned in the previous video, you are not going to be getting this tank for vapor production. That's not at all what it's for.
Yeah, although the vapor production is not quite on par with anything I'm used to, vaping on this thing I don't really mind because it allows me to kind of chain vape mouth to lung as opposed to doing a deep inhale. I actually prefer.
And I mean, unlike some of the Negative Nancy reviewers that have already gotten their hands on this tank, the cloud production is not the main reason we vape, at least most people.
No, exactly.
And we even had Nick do some vape tricks on this tank, and as you're going to see throughout the video, this tank is more than enough to get you blowing O's to doing the jellyfish to whatever it may be.
The only thing this tank really isn't good for is for fogging up your car when you're driving.
Which is a plus, I think.
Yeah, I'm willing to give that up.
I 100%. Hate that VG on my windows, man. That buildup,
such a doozy. Now there is one thing that I don't want to say dislike, but there is one drawback to this tank for me, and that is that I've gotten so used to the wide mouthpiece on my UL crown that going back to this tiny little thing It's a little bit of a letdown that I can't switch onto my older drip tip. I generally like to carry my drip tip from tank to tank, and I'm kind of disappointed that I'm not able to use it anymore. All I can really say is I wish this tank existed when I just started vaping, because it would have made my transition seamless. Instead of going back and forth looking for tanks that I like, I must have gone through 15 to 20 different tanks. This would have been it for me.
Oh yeah, starting with the CE4 clear misers,
C4,
trying out the cartomizers,
then the EVAs,
yeah, then the Pro
tanks, and the Aero tank. This thing beats them all.
None of them even hold a candle. Not even close.
Not even close.
If that's the only thing that we're comparing, if we're comparing this to the Nautilus Mini, right now they're pretty much at the same price point. Nautilus Mini is dead. That's it. No one should ever buy a Nautilus Mini anymore because this tank killed it.
I think Aspire deserves a serious kudos from us. They surpassed themselves time and time again. I think this is going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers in the store who still vape mouth to lung. I think they're going to love this.
Absolutely. All of you watching there thinking about coming down to give it a try, we couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, this is the perfect mouth to lung tank. To summarize, let's take a look at some of the pros.
First and foremost, this tank is sleek not only in its size but also in its aesthetics.
This tank has excellent coils with large juice channels which create an amazing flavor.
Aspire claims this tank is leak proof, and so far that statement has held true.
The airflow control is excellent and allows you to tighten it up as much as you want.
And last but not least, the top fill feature on this tank finally brings mouth to lung tanks to 2016.
For the cons, we had to dig a little deeper simply because this is an excellent tank and it has very few flaws for the purpose, which is mouth to lung vaping. But we do have a few nitpicks.
Yeah. The first and arguably the most significant downfall of this tank is that because the coil has threading on the top as well as on the bottom, it does tend to come out when you're filling up your tank.
Another issue is that while Anton and I both vape a 3mg, we had to bump up to 6 when using this tank.
And lastly, and remember we're nitpicking here, we couldn't take our beloved 510 drip tips with us when switching over to this tank. Watching this video, you've probably gathered that this tank is designated for mouth to lung vapors. You're not going to get any better mouth to lung vape than this, and if that's what you're looking for, this tank is for you.
This tank is not for you though if you are a cloud chaser who enjoys straight to lung. There are plenty of other good tanks out there. Ignore this one. Really not for you. Alright guys, that's it for our review today, and I just want to remind you all about the contest. We're giving away 3 Nautilus X's, a black, a silver, and a gold, and the only thing you need to do to sign up is to leave a comment down here telling us why you're excited about this tank and subscribe to our channel.
It couldn't get any easier guys, and trust me, this tank is well worth the effort. With that in mind guys, thanks for watching our video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, let us know what device you'd like to see us review next. And until next time,
stay cloudy.
Stay cloudy.